Hi, this is your friend Dev. Welcome to my YouTube channel Photomatic. First of all, I really want to thank all of you for subscribing my channel, for putting your likes, putting your comments from the very bottom of my heart. It's really a fantastic feelings. I'm really thankful to all of you for your kind support. So, what is the purpose of making today's video? Well, today we are going to talk about, some basic editing skill of photography. I personally believe that if taking a photograph is very important, taking a good photograph is very important, then it is equally important how do you, edit those images, how you bring life onto your images, right? So taking an image is one part and editing is another part. So these two parts are equally important. And when you combine this, it's become boom, you got me. It's absolutely fantastic. So today we are going to talk about this kind of editing, basic editing. But I'm not going to show it on my laptop actually. The thing is that there are people who can devote their full time, to photography and editing those images. They can afford that. But guy like me, people like me, maybe you also, right? You cannot give the full time to photography, You have some other purposes, other works to do, right? So every time, what I feel that every time I took an image, maybe I'm taking my image in DSLR, or maybe I'm taking image in my mobile also, right? But coming to my home, coming to my house and having a free time to open up my laptop, my MacBook, and then editing those images, it's take a lot of time, hell lot of time. Not all time I have the luxury of the facility to spend such a time on editing. So what I believe that people like me need something that they can edit their images on the go, means in mobile, in maybe in tabs, right, tablets. So for this purpose, for this editing, I'm going to use my iPad, and in iPad I am going to use the Affinity photo editor. But believe me, whatever step I'm going to show you right now, you can replicate, you can mimic those steps using any kind of good photo editing software in your mobile, in your tabs like Adobe Lightroom, Google Snapseed also, right? This I find these three are more compatible, Affinity, Google Snapseed, and Adobe Lightroom is good for editing those images. I do not recommend Photoshop because although let me clear you one thing, although in my laptop, in my MacBook, I always edit my images in Photoshop till date, okay? But when it comes, in the section of the mobility, mobile devices, I found that somewhere Adobe Photoshop is lacking, very far behind. Maybe it is an intentional step of taken by Adobe because they don't want to give you the luxury of Photoshop that they usually give in your laptop, in your desktop. They don't want to do that. Maybe in a later time, but not right now. So I will recommend watching this video and you do your editing, basic editing. I talked here about exposure blending. What is exposure blending, how to do it in Affinity photo editor. I talked about histogram, a lot of histograms. Histogram is the, I believe till date, is the core essence of any photo editing, histogram. So why it is so, I am going to describe you. And I talked about exposure, I talked about black points, white points, curves is a very fantastic tool, curves. I talked about global filter, I talked about local filter, how you partially change your segment of the image, not the total image, that is called a partial filter. So a lot of things are there. So stay with me, hang with me. Um, I believe that you will have a good idea what the basic photo editing does and how to do it. And believe me, whatever step I'm going to show you right now, in my Affinity photo editor, you can replicate, you can mimic all the steps using Lightroom also, and also in Google Snapseed. Those are free. Lightroom is not absolutely free, should I tell that way, but the basic version of the Lightroom is completely free. There are some, something is missing in Lightroom that you can have only in the paid version, but the paid version is very nominal and marginal, cost, having a very nominal, very marginal cost. And Snapseed, the Google product, is absolutely free. You can download it from, from your Android device from the Google Play Store. And the same applies to if you are using your, iOS devices, iPad, or iPhone. I believe you can go to the Apple Play Store and you can download it over there. Okay, so my three recommendations are there. One is Affinity editor. If you are in iOS, then use Affinity photo editor. It is not free. It's cost around, as far I remember, it is right now 4,500 Indian currency. It is lifetime subscription. You have to pay one time only, not anymore on anywhere else. And you can also have Lightroom. You can also play with the Google Snapseed. So if I can do it, you can do it. Without any further delay, let's roll the ball. So welcome. So in this video, we are going to show you some very basic steps of photo editing using Affinity photo editor in iPad. So whatever the steps I'm going to show you right now, you can replicate the same step using any kind of good photo editing software like Adobe Lightroom, Photoshop, or Google Snapseed also. So in my later video, I will wish to show those steps also in Lightroom, Photoshop, and Snapseed also. But today we are going to concentrate on only Affinity photo editor. So let me show you first what I'm going to do right now for you. So here I have couple of images. Okay, so I have basically two images on my iPad. So this image is taken on a beach, on a location. So let me open up this image for you. So as you can see, this image actually means it's a sunset. Okay, so this portion is very dark, and this is a highlight portion basically, as the sun is setting in this direction. Okay, so obviously this is the sky portion will be much more highlighted than the ground portion, right, as it is sunset. The same scenario we will find on sunrise also. So what I have done actually, I have taken two photographs of the same location of same time. One is this one where I make the image intentionally more darker. Okay, means I actually less expose it, or you may call underexpose the image intentionally, because I want to keep these highlight portions. Okay, this highlight portion, but as you can see, when I'm doing that, I also underexposed this shadow portion also, right? So this is shadow and I underexposed that. So this is working good for me right now, this sky, but this is not. So I took another image at the same time. Let me show you that first. So here's another image. Okay, so as you can see, this is the same image, but now the exposure is little bit on a higher side. So now this shadow segment, means this ground segment, is properly exposed. Okay, but I'm losing the sky, I'm losing my highlights. This kind of scenario actually in DSLR can be overcome with using a ND grad filter, ND graduated filter. But entry grad filters are highly expensive. So, and for mobile devices, I have taken this shot with my Samsung mobile. So I believe that mobile devices does not have any kind of ND filter or such. I do not have a knowledge of that actually. Maybe they have, but I do not have that, or I have knowledge of that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to replicate the same effect of the ND filter. What is ND filter? ND filter stands for neutral density filter. What does it mean? It means that whenever you are facing this kind of scenario, means in a sunset, typical sunset or sunrise scenario, so your sky will be much more brighter than your ground. Okay, so if you want your sky to be properly exposed, then you need to underexpose it, because you want to keep your highlights, and obviously you will lose your shadow portion, mean the ground portion. So, and this image, when I tried to keep my shadow right, means my shadow segment right, it's properly exposed right now, but I have already lost the sky. So what to do? What to do? That I am going to show you today with some basic editing skill in Affinity Editor. Now, let me open up my Affinity. So here it is. So what will I do? I will give you, two particular scenario, two type of, post processing the images. So in next onwards, I will not use the word post processing or editing. I will simply use the abbreviation PP. Okay. So you remember PP is post processing in this video for now. Okay. So Affinity have a very good option called new Hdr Merge. What does it do? What is actually do? Let me show you. So if you click over here, it allows me to merge or take two images or three images and merge the HDR and reproduce the HDR. Let me do it for you first. So aligning the source and perspective alignment, you can check it or uncheck it. That completely depends upon your choice. Now let me open up for you two images. So I'm going to select this one, the darker one, and this the brighter one for you. Okay. Now I just want to open it. Okay. So click on open. Now click on OK. Now see, Affinity have a algorithm that is calculating to how to produce the HDR, mixing two images actually here. So as you can see, Affinity is done with its processing. But this is the image Affinity has produced. And you can obviously, correct your exposure or gamma over here. So you want to, maybe, dial down gamma a bit, maybe little there, maybe exposure a little bit down, maybe, yeah, here it is. Okay. So Affinity actually does a very good job. It automatically produces the HDR for you. But seriously, in this image, I don't like the algorithm. So I will do it using Affinity in a manual way that I'm going to show you how to do it. Let's close it first. Now, what I will do, I will go over here again, and this time I will not select the new HDR Merge. What I will do, I will select new stack. Now, what is stack? Stack means is one image on top of another. That is stacking. So I will again select my two images, this one, and then I will click on open. So here is my two image, and I will click OK. Now Affinity is creating a stack for me. So it has created the stack for me. As you can see, now if we go to this side, you will see it has two images. One is the darker image, this one is the darker, and this one is the lighter. Okay. Now, if I, unchecked it, nothing is happening. And if I unchecked it, okay, here we go. So the darker image is coming up. Okay. Now again, I rechecked it. Okay. So now if you remove the darker image, you may be wondering why Affinity is not, whenever we have a dark image that was working perfectly for us, right? So likewise, let me show you once again. So we have one image is a darker, is a more brighter. Okay, so it's basically keeping the shadow and it's basically keeping the highlights, and it's basically keeping the shadow. So shadow is this portion and highlights. Shadow is this ground portion and highlights is this portion. Now, so you will expect that whenever you unchecked it, it's become darker immediately, because the Affinity in the stack only have right now one image, that is a darker tonality image, or where the highlight was well being kept. Okay. Now in a reverse manner, if you remove this dark, you want something to happen over here, but as you can see, there is nothing is happening. So you may be wondering, actually, what the heck is this? So you remove this one, it become immediately darker. So if you remove the darker one, you will expect that it will be more brighter, right? No, that is not the case, because of this live stack group. Okay, so Affinity with its own algorithm had stacked those images in a manner which is controlled by Affinity. So for this purpose, I want to actually remove this live stack group. So how to do it? Go over here and you will see that ungroup option is over here. Okay, so you just need to select the ungroup, and it will automatically ungroup the image for you. Let me do it for you. Okay, now my images are ungrouped. Now you will realize the effect. Now, as I told you, stack. What is a stack? You may call stack as a layer. Okay, so this is the underlying layer, this is the above layer, right? So whenever an above layer is present in your image, the beneath layer will be completely hidden from your view. But if you unchecked the top layer, you can call it a bottom layer, you can call it a top layer, right? So if you just unchecked the top layer, automatically the bottom layer will be revealed to you. Okay, now if you checked it, then the bottom layer is hidden. But as I told you that already, see, in the bottom layer, this image actually was, I have taken this particular shot exposing the shadow, means this portion properly. Okay, but here I lost all the highlights. I lost the sky, I lost the highlight. And in this image, I have my highlights kept. It's look good, but obviously I lost my shadow. So can we just merge it in Affinity? Yes, we can do it. I'm going to show you how to do it. Now, what you need to do, select the top layer, go to this plus icon, click it, bring up, marks layer. You have two kinds of marks. One is, this one is a white marks, okay, and we have another marks called black marks. Let me show you first the black one for you. I want to remove the white marks right now. So this is the is called empty mask layer or a black layer. Let me apply it, then I will describe it, what is happening behind the screen. Whoa. As you can see, whenever I applied the empty mask layer, means the black layer, what happened? The very bottom layer is actually exposed, right? And my top layer is completely hidden. So what is a mask? Mask is something that is being used for masking purposes. So black means whenever you apply some black marks on something, that will be completely hidden. So I have applied this black marks on this top layer. Obviously my top layer is now completely hidden and it is showing the only the bottom layer. Now when I uncheck this mask, there is no mask, right? So my top layer is now visible and my bottom layer has gone completely. So this is the black marks, okay? So from this purpose, I will not use the black marks. I will use the white one. Let me delete it. Now I will just put a mask layer, means a whiter one. So what does a white mask? Absolutely nothing. It's a transparent mask, okay? So whenever you are applying a white mask to a layer, nothing will happen. See, if you checked it, if you unchecked it, nothing is happening. So you may ask, what the heck, Deep? Why? Why then you have put it intentionally white mask? It does not have any purposes. Hang on, mate. I have something to show you. Now, do one thing. Go to this very left section, okay? Pick up this fill tool, right? Now remember, this is a white mask, right? So, oh, okay. Let me tell you in another story. Actually, maybe it will be very good for you to understand. I'm not picking up this right now. I'm picking up my brush, okay, paintbrush, okay. Now, as you can see, this is a what kind of mask this is? This is a white mask, right? So, if I want that my white mask should mark something of the top layer, okay, that is the purpose of the mask, right? So remember, I told you that if I put black, then the layer will be hidden, okay? So now I just want to paint over here to show you how the thing is working. Let me increase my brush size for a bit. So here it is, okay? So this is a white mask, it doing nothing. Now I am painting it with black. Now see what is happening. What is happening? Yes, you guessed me right. You guessed me right. So the underlining layer means the bottom layer is now coming up, okay? So my top layer and my bottom layer is merging together. So this is the fantastic way of doing a thing called exposure blending, okay? ND graduated filter does the same thing for you in your camera. But as I told you, not everyone has the privilege or the money to buy a costly ND filter, or maybe I'm taking this image as I have taken this image on my mobile phone. I do not have any kind of ND filter for my mobile phone, okay? So right now what we are going to do, but see, the problem is that it looks already good, okay? So if you just remove the mask, then only the top layer is visible. Now I am masking some portion of the top layer with my mask, and my this layer is right now is coming up, okay, the bottom layer, okay. And if you want to fine tune it, it's just, you know, I have missed this segment, maybe I'm a little bit missed here over here, so you can obviously paint with, sorry, you just select this one and you can, you know, paint it with white also. So you have missed this portion, you have missed this portion, so it will show you where things are missing. So right here it is. So review it. So but as you, sorry, I have done some mistakes. I have wrongly painted in my, actually in my layer actually, so eventually I have to fix it. Right? So what I'm going to do, okay, in Affinity you need two fingers tap to undo, right? I'm undoing the steps. Okay, so here it is. So I need to, you know, brush it on this layer, but accidentally I, you know, brush over there actually. So let me undo the things. Okay, so that's it. Okay, that's it. So as you can see, now everything will be fine right now on two steps. Okay, now it's okay. So this is good, actually this is good, but really I, you know, this kind of, you know, things is, it's not appropriate, should I say that way. It means it's not, you know, good for, you know, the effect it has produced is, you know, not, you know, I do not like the actual effects of this. Okay, so obviously what I'm going to do, I want to, you know, this kind of effect, as I talked about the effect, see now this is the, you know, top layer, the dark layer, this is the bottom layer, is most brighter layer. But this change means it, as you can see from this onwards, this is, you know, darker tone and this is more lighter tone, right? Okay, this is more lighter tone and this is more darker tone. Now here the change is, you know, very much drastic. Okay, so it's changed suddenly, it looks very funky, so we need to fix it, right? So we need something, you know, the change should be much more subtle manner, in much more gradual, slow, right? So what we're going to do, okay, let me show you that step also for you. You may be happy with it, or you may want to go further of that. Okay, now let me show you how to do it. Now I will remove this mask. Okay, so just delete it from here. So you are again back here. So right now again I want to apply a empty mask layer, or, you know, mask layer. Simply I have the mask layer right now with me. So this time I will not paint it, I'll not paint with my brush. Okay, what I will do, I will pick the fill tool, okay, and just drag a arrow over here like this way. See the subtle effect. Okay, now see the subtle effect. You may want to undo this, you can undo it. You may want to pick from this one, from this, and you just, you know, you have to just, it is making more thing darker. Okay, so you may want to fill it from, you know, from the very top, or you can do the same thing. You can remove it from here and you can apply a, you know, black marks, empty marks layer. Then you can gradually, you know, just fill it over here this way, this way, take it. Or you can do in a reverse manner, you can do it this way, you can do this way, right? So as you can see, this is the marks and this is not the marks. Over here, this, we do not have the marks, now we have the marks. Okay, now see the effect. Let me show you the effect. Now as you can see, we have, you know, if you remove the marks, it's all dark, right? The top layer. Now you apply the marks, you know, some portion, you know, becoming more the shadow portion, having some light or shadow is being exposed properly. Okay, and if you are not happy with this, obviously what you can do, you can again just grab your this linear tool, and you can again subtly changes these things. Okay, it's all depend upon your personal preference, how the subtle things you want. You want this to be like this way, maybe this way. Okay, this way, and you can play with it also, right? You can have it like this way. You can drag it over here, and you can just adjust it like this way. Okay, so this is white, this point is white because you want this to be white, right? And you can play around it, you can make it black, you can see the effect. Okay, if you make it black, then obviously everything will be exposed again. Okay, so if you want to be it to be white, then you can drag this out. Okay, so it's a thing that you can play around all the way, no problem with that. Okay, so just remember what kind of effect do you want, how things to be subtle in your image, what you actually precisely want. Okay, so as you can see, if you follow this, just where I'm dragging this, as you can see, this is walking, it's a shadow is coming up from the very top, right? From the very top, one particular shadow is coming up. Okay, so you can drag it over here, you can leave it over here, you can drag it over here. For this image, I think I can, this one works good for me. Okay, so now as you can see, the effect is more subtle. Okay, it's more subtle. Okay, I'm not losing my highlights. As you remember, I'm not losing my highlights, I'm keeping my highlights, I'm keeping my shadow also, right? So let me show you once again for you. So I'm removing this, so it become a more brighter image, means the bottom layer, very bottom layer is being exposed again. Okay, so this is the bottom layer. Okay, so the bottom layer, as I told you, it has more shadow, shadow is properly exposed, shadow is properly actually being very well exposed, actually, should I say that way. And the top layer, if you just click the top layer, the top layer is taking the precedence now, and top layer is where the highlights is being kept. Highlights is good, the sky is very good right now, but we lost the information over here. It is much more, the shadow is much more higher over here, so obviously we'll lose the ground. So we apply a graduated filter, right? Here it is. Okay, you remember it, it is there, it's just slightly down this way. Okay, are you happy with it? Yes, I am happy with it. So you can play around it, you can obviously do more edits. If you do not like this kind of subtle effect, you want more subtle, so you need to drag small things over there to make this thing happen again. Okay, you want to keep the sky again more darker, maybe shadow, it's completely upon your choice actually, what kind of effect that you want on your image, how you want to blend your exposure. This total technique is called exposure blending. Okay, so I have done with 2 images. Now let's have a new layer out of everything. Okay, so I will just go there and merge the visible layer. Okay, so it just produces a new layer for me. Okay, I will start working from here with some basic editing. So, but one thing you could notice that this horizon is not straight. Okay, I feel it is not straight enough. Okay, right? So maybe we want to first straight up this. Okay, so go to the develop module. Okay, so this is the develop module or Affinity. Now you go over here. Now if you go over here, you have no rotation. Okay, so you remove the lens distortion automatically, and you have the rotation. So I want to just just tilt it a little bit. Okay, maybe a bit. Okay, not that much, okay, okay, I think not that much. Actually, you have to be very precise on what you are doing right now. Okay, now I'm happy with it. Okay, so I will just apply it right away. So I just apply it, and here is my image. And I might want to crop it a little bit, because of this portion it's not not much that isothin or effective. So maybe what I'll do, I will just crop it somewhere in between this way. Maybe this little bit of cropping over here, and a little bit of cropping over here. Okay, that's look good for me. Okay, let's bring it up. Okay, now what I'll do, maybe a little cropping over here also, because we focused that it actually lost some information. So let me do it for. Okay, so here is our image. Okay, so we are going to start our basic editing on this particular image. So I will again go to this particular over here, and I will create merge visible layer and create another layer from it, and going quickly into development mode. So what I'll do, I will just take this one. So as you can see, the histogram is properly exposed. As you may remember from my previous video, that the left hand side, as always I told you, whenever you are editing an image, you have to look for the histogram first. Okay, editing an image, or whenever you are taking an image, the best possible way to encounter the light situation or exposure situation, you want your image to be properly exposed. So histogram is the best way out for that. So the histogram, let me tell you some brief story about the histogram. Histogram has 5 axes. Okay, you cannot cannot find over here, because Affinity does not show it that way. I will show you in the channel segment also, right? Let me go to that segment first. Okay, so remember, this left hand side means this portion is representing the shadow, or you may call the darker tones. Okay, now here in the right hand side, it is representing the highlights, means the brighter tones. Okay, you may call it black, you may call it white. Okay, in between there are grays. Okay, so always whenever you are taking an image, always remember your histogram should not be clipped on the shadow segment and should not be clipped on the highlight segment. What is clipping? Let me show you what is clipping. Now, as this histogram is properly exposed, okay, now if you just underexpose it a little bit, little tiny bit, okay, I'm just underexposing it. Okay, now let me, yeah, now you can see, if you underexpose it, now see, here is the clipping occurring. Okay, so means this graph is touching the left side, so here is, it's called the shadow clipping. Okay, you are losing the information in the shadow. Okay, here is the shadow, you are losing information over here. Now if you bring your exposure up this way, let me go up more. Okay, now as you see, sorry, as you can see, if you bring your exposure much higher proportion, then what will happen? You will eventually lost your highlights. You will have information lost over in this segment, in this segment, in this segment. You will have all the information lost. Okay, so, and here is the highlight clipping is showing over the histogram. So now don't do it right now. I'm not going to do that, because my histogram is properly exposed. I just want to explain to you what is the histogram all about actually. Okay, now let me do some basic editing. So you may want to having a more contrast to the image, maybe a little bit contrast over it. What does contrast do? What is the concept of contrast? Contrast is nothing but the difference between black and white. That is contrast, right? So as you can see, if you increase the contrast, see, the histogram will be more flattened. Okay, means here is the shadow, here is the highlight, means you may call it a black, you may call it a white. So as you increase the contrast, what is happening? What is happening? More and more pixel is distributing towards left and towards right. Means towards left to the shadow segment, or towards right to the highlight segment, mean the white. Okay, So contrast is the difference between black and white, right? That is the contrast all about. So I'm not going to do that because it's looked very awful. So I will just give it a little bit of contrast. Okay, maybe a tiny little bit. I have to be absolutely careful because I don't want any kind of shadow clipping over here, right? So this is the thing. Now I want some clarity, okay, into my image. I will do that, but I don't want my sky to be affected whenever I increasing my clarity. So I will leave that portion right now. I will show you, means whatever we are doing over here, as we do not have any marks in it. So whatever we are doing, it is affecting the total image. Okay. So this is called a global adjustment. So we are doing the global adjustment. So I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to increase, the saturation a bit, a vibration a bit. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I want to go to the white balance segment. So white balance is temperature, means Kelvin. So the left side, if you drag the arrow in the left side, the Kelvin will be less and the image will be more bluish, means the more cooler tone will be applied. Okay. Now if you drag in the opposite direction, means in the right hand side, then obviously the image become more hot. Okay. So more yellowish and orange tone will be applied on it. So the Kelvin is getting up. Okay. So for me, for this image, I think I need a little bit, I will go with the cooler side right now. Little bit, tiny little bit. Okay. Maybe it's around here. Okay. That's too good for me. Now, tint. I don't want to apply tint right now. Not interested to apply right now actually. Okay. So now this segment, this is the highlight, this is the shadow. Now see what is happening. Now I am decreasing now highlights. As I told you in the histogram, this portion represent the highlights. So if I decrease my highlights, means I make my highlights more darker, then what would happen? What do you expect? Yeah, correctly. The histogram is shifting towards left, means my highlights is becoming more darker, okay? So I want that way. So it's going on fine for me. Okay. Now this is shadow. So obviously this is the shadow segment. What do you expect if I drag it over there in the whiter, means I am pushing the shadow, pushing some light on the shadow, actually exposing the shadow. Okay. So as I expose the shadow, you will have all the details of revealing over here, and your histogram will obviously shift towards the right. Okay. Now remember one thing, keep in mind that revealing the shadows means if you drag this towards the right segment, it's good. If you want your shadow portion to be little bit revealed, okay, fine. But if you accidentally drag much right side, means let's see in here. Now see, everything is getting exposed, and obviously another thing, if you look carefully in this image, another thing is being introduced in your image, in your photo, is that it's nothing but a grain. Okay. So increases in the shadow will increase the grain in the image. Okay. So you don't want that, right? You don't want your clear image to be grainy right now. Okay. So it increases the noise, actually noise of the image. You don't want that, right? So always be careful whenever you are dragging the shadow. Okay. Do a little bit, not that much of that will introduce the grain or lose the clarity of the image. Okay. So I am happy with my basic editing. Now I will go to this segment, and less distortion is always corrected. Chromatic aberration, I am fixing it. So I will not touch anything over here. Remove vignette. Yeah, I want to remove vignette. I'm pretty What is vignette? Let me show you what is vignette actually. See, as the sun is setting over here, so what do we expect? This portion is more brighter than this sides, because the distance of this point from the sun is much lesser than this point. Means this corner points, this corner point are very much away, far away from your light source. Means here is your light source, right? It is your light source. Sun is the light source, right? So obviously this point is much closer than this point, right? So if you go far away from the light source, what will happen? It will become more darker, right? So anything that is come, very much close towards, the sun or the light source will be much brighter. So that is the vignetting actually, okay? So we have vignette in our image because, yes, we do need vignette, or it is actually the vignette, because our light source is over here, and right now this portion is far away from our light source than this portion. So obviously we can have vignette in our image. So if you can remove the vignette totally, completely. You can wash out the vignette, just remove the vignette from here. But I will suggest you that if you remove the vignette, okay, so what will be the intensity of removing the vignette? Okay, you can adjust it over here. Okay, how much vignette do you want to remove it actually? Okay, let me show you. When I do not remove the vignette, it's like this. Okay, now if I remove the vignette, what is happening? All the portion are becoming more darker, so I don't want that, right? So I need to control the intensity. So I will what should be my intensity? Okay, you have to settle down somewhere. Okay, I'm going to settle down over here. Okay, fine, good for me. So this is a very basic editing of image. So my image is right now is very good, pretty good, I should say that way. Okay, so now I will just go away from the develop module. So I will click it and it will automatically being saved. So whatever the basic editing we have done over here, if you remove this become this. Okay, the image was before the basic editing, and now if we apply the basic editing, it becomes this. Okay, so now what we want to do, as I told you, that as you can see, this is the basic editing we have done. Okay, right? So it is affecting all the areas, right? All the areas. So remember, I want to increase the sharpness of these sands, right? But I don't want to touch it. I don't want to touch it. What is the way out? You guessed me right. Okay, so create a visible layer from it, much visible layer, and go to this segment. Okay, and here we have so many things to be play on: black and white, brightness, contrast. Okay, so you have too many things over here. You can obviously do it that way also. You can play around everything with everything actually. I mean that. Okay, now you can obviously pick anything. Affinity, have a lot of option. Okay, is a hell lot of option. So you can explore it. Okay, you can explore color mixture, color balance, curves. Curve is a very fantastic tool actually. It's a very powerful tool. I will come into that segment lastly. Okay, so you can have multiple exposure, HSL. Okay, a lot of things over here. Okay, but I'm not interested. Right now. I'm not going to do that. Okay, so what I'm going to do, so you may ask what we want to do actually. Okay, so I will go to this means this filter segment. Okay, now okay, let me bring the clarity. Okay, now here is the clarity. Okay, so if you increase the clarity, as you can see, I'm increasing it. You can drag it in the right direction, it will increase, or you can just simply click it and put the value. How much clarity do you want? 150%. Here it is. Okay, so see, if you are applying the clarity, it is affecting all the areas, means it is becoming a global adjustment. Okay, so okay, no problem with that. Apply the global. Now you can have a split view over here. As you can see, this is before applying the clarity, and this is after applying the clarity. Okay, so in case you want a better view, you have this. Okay, so as you can see, you have, you know, more clarity over here, and you have less clarity over here. Okay, so that's what good for me. So I will apply this. Okay, now here I am, so I'm applying this. Here I am, right? Okay, so but see, if you remove it, just watch carefully with me. Okay, just watch very carefully. I'm applying the clarity. Okay, now see, this kind of line in the sky is appearing. Okay, so my sky is breaking up. Okay, my ground, my shadow portion where I want to apply the clarity is appropriately okay, but it is breaking up. That's why it's called a global adjustment, but we don't want that. So what is the way out? Yes, you guessed me right. You guessed me absolutely right. Remember, you need to apply, a empty murk layer. Nothing has happened. There is no clarity. Bring back the clarity. Yes, I will do it. How to do it? Grab a, paintbrush. Simple a brush, and make it white. Is it white? Yes, it is white. It is a black marks. Then just, if you want to increase, maybe 500%. Okay, and you just paint it. You just paint it with the white. Okay, so I reduce the width accidentally. Okay, so 500 px, my width is there. So I want to just paint it. I want to paint it. I want to paint it. I want to paint it. It's real fun, isn't? It's real. Yes, absolutely. It's real fun. It's real fun. Okay. Okay. So here we are. So it's real fun. Okay. Now you see. You got me right. Okay, so I have painted this area. Okay, I have painted along it. Okay, I have painted it with, white. So the sharpness is only applied onto the portion where I have wanted. Okay, and I'm doing with the mouse, and if you want to be a little bit precise, then obviously I can use my pencil, Apple Pencil. I will decrease the width and I will just, retouch it this way. Maybe you will not have the view of a pencil right now. You can view the mouse actually. You will be wondering what is happening. I'm doing it with my Apple Pencil actually. So whenever doing some precise editing, very precise editing, I love to, use the, my Apple Pencil rather than the mouse, because it's give me more comfort. It's actually give me more comfort. Okay, so without the sharpness, with the sharpness, without the sharpness, with the sharpness, right? Okay, great. Now what do we want? So it is not the final image, so I will do a little bit, a tiny bit of editing more. Okay, now I will again merge these visible layers. Now I will go to this segment. Now one thing that you have to keep in your mind, that this sands is combination of, right now it's kind of black and white. So it can be a little dramatic. Means, what is a drama? Drama is a contrast of the color, right? Contrast, right? Absolutely, you got me right. It's contrast, nothing but contrast. So how to do it? Yeah, we have a fantastic tool called here, no, not here, where it is. Okay, now we have here, it's called burn. Sorry for the pronunciation. It's called burn, and it's called turtle brush. Okay, so what does it mean? What does burn does? Okay, let me pick up the burn first for you. Now show you. We have we are burning it, means we are making things more black. Okay, maybe I want to retouch this particular area, this particular area, a little bit of black, and with the precise editing I will be using my Apple Pencil. Just have a look into what I'm doing right now for you. Okay, now I'm increasing the opacity. Okay, maybe right this one. So I will just paint it over here. Okay, as you can see it become more black, it will become black. It's black right now, it's black, right? So I'm making these things black. Okay, now see, I'm making these things, I'm doing some precise editing. So I'm leaving the mouse, I'm using my Apple Pencil to retouch it. Okay, so I will do some burn. Okay, I'm burning this. Okay, in black. Okay, so maybe a little bit over here. Okay, I will decrease the opacity a bit, maybe 50%. Okay, a little burning over here. A slight touch, slight notch. You can see this slight delicate notch or touch. You can say that way. Okay. Okay. Maybe I want some black over here because I want to bring this white. In a minute I'm going to do that. So I'm making things black. Okay, I'm adding more drama to it, just more drama, just a little bit of drama in it. Okay, now what I'll do, I will again grab I will again go to this segment, and this time I will dodge it. Okay, means dodge is absolutely the opposite of burn, means it makes things more whiter. Okay, so maybe I will dodge it over here something in a white segment. It's a again it's a fine adjustment, so maybe I will need my Apple Pencil again. So you just watch it, okay, and you can control the flow also. Okay, you can decrease the flow. Okay, a bit. I will decrease the flow. What is the flow? Flow is nothing but what is the flow of your ink, of your pen. Actually flow is the same here. It is the flow. Okay, so it is the flow. Okay, now I want this area, okay, to be painted a little bit of I want to dodge it. Okay, I want to dodge it and nudge it, just gently touch it. Don't go fast, don't go harsh. It's a subtle change, very subtle change. Okay, I'm using my Apple Pencil, so you cannot see my mouse pointer right now with me, so allow me to do it in my pencil because I want to be very precise on this. Okay, so okay, now see, now I applied the changes. Okay, now as you can see, now if I go to the layer segment, I've adjusted this over here. Now if I remove it, it's like this before, and after my edit it's like this, before and after. See the drama. Let me bring you more to clarity. Okay, as you can see, I hope you are watching this. Nothing there, I applied this. Nothing there, I applied this. I added more drama to the foreground. This is the foreground. Actually this is called the foreground. I added more drama over it. Okay, this is called the foreground, and this is the background of the image. Okay, so good for it. Now the last thing. Okay, so I want again much visible layer and go to the now I will go to the curves. Okay, what are the curves? Here it is. Okay, now let me show you what curves actually, why curve is so powerful. Actually the most powerful, I hope, tools right now. So curve is nothing but histogram. Okay, yeah, as I told you, remember, as I told you, histogram has how many? 1 2 3 4 5 axes. Okay, so this is the 5 segments. Okay, and 5th segment, this is the 1 2 3 4, and this is the 5 lines. Okay, here. So now what I will do, as I can see that this image, okay, I want it little, if you want a little bit of contrast in it, okay, if you want that way, okay, let me show you how to do it. Now for contrast, remember in your histogram, this portion where my mouse is, this is shadow, this is highlights, and this mid portion is called mid-tone, okay. So if you want contrast in your image, then what you will have to do, you have to make a S, okay, means you just drag the mid-tone down this way. Now increase the highlight a bit, okay, and just a shadow it bit, okay. So it will automatically add more drama to it, okay, more drama to it. So maybe another time, not in this image, I'm not interested, okay, so I will just leave it that way. What I will do, I will just, you know, decrease my mid-tone a bit, a tiny bit, maybe let me see it, how things is going. Yeah, here it is, a mid-tone a bit, good to go. Yeah, here it is. And if you want, you know, some kind of soft feelings in your image through curves, means, you know, vintage type of looks in your image, your curve can do it. How to do it? Open up the curve again. For a vintage type of look, what you have to do, you have to make a S in highlights and as well as a shadow. What does it mean? I mean that just drag this a bit up and make this one shadow S, okay? Here is a shadow S. Okay. Now do the same thing in the highlight. Do it a kind of ace, okay, and kind of ace in the highlight. Okay, as you can see, now it is happening, okay. Here it is, okay. Maybe a little bit of drama in shadow. Yeah, it's perfectly all right. Oh, did you like it? Tell me honestly, did you like it, my friends? So if I want to merge it, I will merge it, then go to this segment, okay, just grab this hand, make the image bigger, and just, you know, this is the curve represent. Without the curve, it this look this, with the curve, it's look this, without this, with this. So hope you have enjoyed the video. Hope that I could have explained you properly some basic things. So in my, I have a wish, I have told you that in my, I have a wish that, you know, I'm going to do the same things in, you know, Lightroom as well as in Photoshop and as well as the Google product Snapseed also. So the same things. Maybe the tools will be different. Maybe, you know, the interface will be different. Maybe not. It's different, very different. But all the things are there. Okay. So you may wonder. So let me go to the layer segment. So we started from here, right? Remember, we started from here. Let me undo all the steps for you. Okay. So it was blank. We have this, then we have this. Okay. Now you can name all the things. It's pixel everywhere. You can rename it. Okay. So we are adjusted over here. We have applied, you know, our development modules changes over here, and here we have applied intentionally increase the sharpness of the shadow over here. Now we have, you know, some kind of burn and dodge effect over here. Now in this layer, it's nothing, a mix, and this is the channel adjustment layer. Okay. So this is all. This is great. And obviously in Affinity you can, you know, save this image. If you just, you know, accidentally close the Affinity, it will automatically be saved. And if you want to export it, I will export it. You have a couple of format over here, PNG over here, TIFF over here, JPEG, PSD, a lot of things over here. So I want to focus on the JPEG right now. So just save it. Okay, what do you want to save it? I want to save it over here. Save it. Okay, so we have to save the image. Now go to my folder segment again. Let me show you. So this was our previous image unedited. This was the previous image unedited. Now this is our edited version. Voila. Did you like it? Thank you. If you like it, if you like my videos, then obviously subscribe to my channel, put the thumbs up for the video, and if you have any queries, any question, then put it in the comment section. I will definitely answer those as much fast as I can. Okay. Thank you friends for watching the video. Thank you for being a part of my photography journey. So if you already have subscribed, then please put your likes, put your comments, put your suggestion. Even if you have some queries, put it there, just throw it there. I will definitely going to answer those. And I personally love communicating with the people, love communicating with the friends, making new friends. So obviously if you are new to my channel, then please do subscribe it. If you like the video, do subscribe it. In this channel, I'm going to produce more videos of my photography journey. Usually I called it my photography journey. I talked about my infield experiences, shared with you also, and I talked about editing those images in the post-processing. So if you really like my video, then please subscribe the channel, put your likes in the video, put your comments in the video. That will encourage me to go far. Okay, so I will be very happy if you just subscribe, if you just like, if you just put your comments. So thank you once again. This is your friend Deb saying bye bye for right now.